too good also. Yeah. Okay. So, hey guys, thanks for showing up to my session about PowerShell and KeePass, how to build a poor person's credential database. Because as we all know, there's never budget. So that's the reason this project exists, because you somehow have to store your credentials, but if you don't have any money, you are having a hard job doing that securely. And you don't want to store any passwords and scripts, as you know. So basically, this whole session is divided in 3 parts. First part will be psKeePass, a PowerShell module that I somewhat created with the help of Jason Fossen, and it's available on GitHub. Then it's about Cryptographic Message Syntax, which I will only call CMS because I can remember the name. What the prerequisites are and the benefits. And then we combine those 2 parts together to build a poor person's credential database. So psKeePass is basically it's a script module with 5 functions. It's doing a set KeePass configuration where it just sets your default credential database, your default KeePass database file, and where it asks for your KeePass.exe path, or folder, better said. Then the get KeePass configuration, because you want to control what you set. Then we have get KeePass entry, set KeePass entry, and new KeePass entry. And that's what I want to show you. There we are. It's okay. Sizing is okay? Yeah, I think so. Okay, first of all, I'm going to import the module, and I'm going to check if I already have a KeePass configuration in it, because I think, no, I don't have. Okay. So, I'm just now opening up KeePass, and you see this is my personal KeePass, and I want to create a new KeePass credential database file, which I will do. I have to take a look at my path, okay? So when I don't put it in another path, all my demos are not working. I don't want that. So we have here C temp, and I think I named it psconf.eu. And I have to give it a master key. And this is the master key. I will give it. Master key is basically the secret that you have to put into KeePass to open the KeePass database. When you're using KeePass in the GUI, you can also add the Windows user account to your master key or a key file. Those both methods are currently not supported in the KeePass module because it's basically meant for scripting, so Windows user would not really be that great, but in the future, this should be doable to add it. So this is basically it. I'm just creating this new database, and I'm doing a new sample entry in the Windows group. The groups are really important that you know where you put your credentials in. So we go to the Windows group, we make a new entry with a really cool name. And we have it, whatever, user. And we give it that great password. That's an easy password to remember, right? So I just put it here. What's really important, you gotta save your databases. So now it's saved. It's actually a file there on the file system, which we can use to set our KeePass configuration, which I will do here. So set KeePass configuration, and I give it the parameter keybdb default path. Yeah, it's a great parameter name, I know, but you only have to set it once normally. So, And I give it the program folder of the KeePass exe. So just run that one. And now when I do a get KeePass configuration, I should, why? Perfect. I don't get anything. Why? Let's see. So what it's supposed to do is create this XML file, which it actually did. It's in the module folder. When we take a look at it, it just says this KeePass settings for the default path and for the folder. And each commandlet or each function reads out that information then to go to get the KeePass database. So I don't know why it's not showing it up here, but strange. Okay. It's working, so we see the configuration has been set. Maybe I have an idea. No, just do it again. Zack. Okay, but it's set. You saw that. Now I want to get my test entry that I created before, my psconf.eu entry. For that, I have to somehow get my master key to provide my credentials to KeePass to then open or get the entry. So I will do that. And the username doesn't matter. It's only about the password. So you can do anything here. And what was the master key again? So we cancel that one. Test master key. Okay. That's why I built that solution, because I really cannot remember passwords, right? Master key. So, and now with get KeePass entry, I have to provide the credentials, and I have to provide them as a credential object, not as plain text, because we don't want any plain text passwords in any scripts or on somewhere. And I have to provide the top-level group name. The top-level group name is one of that. If you have a nested one, a group in a group there, it won't work currently. This is one thing where the module can be enhanced. So basically, we're trying now to get that entry, psconf.eu, which we just created in the GUI. And there we got it. This is our great password. Now I said I don't want any clear text password somewhere, and that's why there is the secure credential switch in the commandlet. So if I do that one, I get a secure string, which I then again can use to build my credential objects for going to the next steps.
Not displaying the password by default.
Yeah, I'm thinking about that too, yeah. So, next thing would be to create a new entry. Now it's your turn. Give me a great username. Somebody. What? SQL DBA with a beard, right? Okay, and let's do that. So we got the credentials. And again, when we do new KeePass entry, we have to provide our credentials with a master key in it. To open the database, we have to provide the top-level group name where this new entry should be located. We have to give it a title, and we have our new credentials. So let's see if that works. It says it works, so let's take a look. We have to reload the database into the GUI. That can be done with Control R, I think. Yes, it is. And there you see there has been some change between the GUI version and the saved version on the hard drive, and I'm now synchronizing it. I got my new entry with my perfect username, which I will use in every other demo of this also. Okay. What you see here, the normal fields are there, but there are no URL field, or it's not filled right now, no field, and there are no nodes right now, but you can see everything else looks like in any other entry. Like the manual entry also has the last modification stamp, and also the automatically created one has the same information. So we can do the same here from the command line, or PowerShell, from the shell, sorry. Okay, it's working. So now I said we don't have a URL right now, we don't have any nodes right now, so let's add them, because we can do that also with set KeePass entry. Okay. So this new psconf entry, let's take a look. New psconf entry, so this is working. We have to provide the credentials again. We have to provide entry credentials also, because we have to provide credentials, and it should be the same, otherwise you would overwrite your credentials from the entry. So you should know the credentials when you set a KeePass entry. So let's do that. And again, with Control R, synchronize. And we got the information we want. We got this one, which I really think does. That's, yeah.
Do we can provide during creation the nodes and the URL? Or
Yes, yes. You also can provide it during creation. It was just to show that you can later change an entry. What you can also do is, if you are changing a password or something like that, and you want to create a nodes entry for that, you can basically do the same here. And if you don't want to lose your old nodes that are stored, you can just say append nodes. Let's say this one. And reset it, or resync, better said. And you will see the new nodes are appended to the nodes field. So that way you could provide some kind of light auditing or something like that. Yeah. Yeah.
So on the set KeePass, you have the group name and the entry name. Why do you need the entry credentials?
It's just because the commandlet is written right like that at the moment. Yeah. Because I think the most time you will set a KeePass entry is when you change the credentials. That's what I was supposing with that thing.
Because you would need some kind of ID, right? So that's the title.
That's the title. So the title is unique, or a title has to be unique in that group. That's very important, because otherwise there's no way to grab the right one. That's the KeePass object structure is based on a UID, but this UID is never shown anywhere in the GUI. In the GUI. Yeah.
What if you have groups with the same name?
Groups with the same name are not working at the moment. Yeah. So top-level groups. If you have nested groups, it won't work anyway right now. But yeah, I never tried it, but it's not supposed to work. Okay. So that's the PS KeePass module, which, yeah.
I have a hard time figuring out where do I save my master key. Should I put that in my script?
We will come to that in just a second. This is, or let's say in 5 minutes, because in between I have to tell something else. So yeah, that itself is okay if you just want to get your credentials interactively. But as you said, in the scripts, that's not enough. So then we will switch to CMS, Cryptographic Message System. Syntax, yeah? That's why I say CMS all the time, because then, okay. CMS is an IETF standard. IETF stands for Internet Engineering Task Force, which is really official. Right? And everybody wanting to know more about the standard itself, it's well documented. You can read it and see the syntax and everything that is needed. It's based on public-private key pairs. It's because it's an IETF standard. It's vendor neutral. It's nothing Microsoft self-designed something. It's vendor neutral. It can be used on any system that supports that standard. So Linux, Unix, whatever you need. And in PowerShell, it's implemented through protect CMS message and unprotect CMS message. So basically, you have to think about it as a way to really easily encrypt your message, easily, in quotation marks, when you have a PKA or something in place. So we will see that. The prerequisites for CMS are PowerShell V5. As you know, it can be backported or installed on, I think, 2008 R2, so that should be no problem. So, well, okay. And you need a document encryption certificate. So for testing, this can be something self-signed. In production use, you should have something official. Official in the meaning that either it's really official from a board certificate from some certification authority or from your internal PKI, personal key infrastructure, which you hopefully have set up. The certificate itself must have the key usage document encryption inside its template, because otherwise Protect CMS message will not recognize it as a valid certificate for encrypting and decrypting. Yeah, what's the benefits? You can store any sensitive data, be it passwords, be it configuration data that should not be laying somewhere in clear text. And the cool thing is you don't have to rely on the Windows Credential Store, because normally the Windows Credential Store only, if you protect something with the normal encryption mechanisms in PowerShell, then you have two ways. You can use a key to encrypt, but then the question is, where do you store the key? That is somewhere. You need it to decrypt. If you have to protect the key, then you can protect the entry itself. And if you are using the credential store, only the user that encrypted something can decrypt it, and only on that machine. So that's really a shortcoming of that stuff before unprotect and protect CMS message. Next cool thing is, based on its public-private key pairs, it's possible that you can give, I could give out my private key to everybody of you. Not my private, no. I gotta return that. I have my public key, sorry. I always confuse those. I could give you my public key. You could encrypt any messages, but nobody else could read what you encrypted than me, because I got the public key. That way you can set up with private, thank you. I said, getting trouble there. That way you can set up a system where your IT staff can encrypt your messages, scripts or whatever needed, and only the persons with the private key can decrypt them. And the private key can be implemented for a system account, for example, on a computer, or for a service account. And that way, yeah, you can build the thing. So, drink something. And then we have our CMS. So first of all, I want to make sure that I don't have my private key currently implemented in my personal key store or certificate store. Nothing in there. So then I got my test text, which I want to encrypt. And now I'm using protect CMS message. And with that 2 parameter, I use the certificate which I before exported. And with content, I give it to content, right? So now I got my encrypted text, which is not readable, how it's supposed to be. So now, as I don't have the private key implemented in my personal store right now, doing that, just unprotect CMS message with the content should not work because the envelope data message does not contain the specified recipient. So I am not the recipient who is allowed to read that content. Okay? So now what I'm doing is I'm importing, and yeah, this is only for the demo purpose here. Normally you would not import your certificate this way in front of 1,000 eyes or so. I'm just reading out my certificate, which for this demo, I created a PKI infrastructure in Azure, just with 1 DC, 1 CA, just really basic implementation. Please no PKI admin ever look on that. Okay, so I'm now getting my cert, importing it, just converting the password, because there's the private key in it, and if you export a certificate with a private key, you have to give it a password. So I will do that, and now I will import it to my current user personal certificate store. And just to show you how it looks like, this is actually the one that I just now imported. You see the issuing CA here. And the intended purpose, as I said before, has to be document encryption. It has to be included there, otherwise it would not work. So if I now try to unprotect my message, it does work. So that's basically how CMS works in PowerShell, and you can encrypt and decrypt anything text-based, I should say. It's not working with some objects or files itself. It's a text-based, it's a messaging syntax, so to say. And I think there is some trouble with texts over 10 megs or so, 10 megabyte, but I don't know if that's really a problem. Okay. So now, let's combine those two. Because with the KeePass module and protect and unprotect CMS message, we now really have the availability and the possibility to implement a very low cost, because only the cost of PKI, and highly flexible credential database solution. Can use the KeePass to store the credentials, and with CMS, you protect the master key and you unprotect the master key only on that device or that service account which has the private key in their personal store. Good, so demo for that. So now I'm creating my encrypted master key because I needed to open my KeePass database there. So just to prove that it does not work without the private key again, I'm deleting my certificate. It's gone. And now this is the master key. I'm protecting it with protect CMS message, and I'm writing it out to a file, which is my encrypted masterkey.txt. So, just to show you again, this is my master key. Yee. Okay, so now let's use those both together. We just to make sure, no, I don't have to make sure again. It's already gone, the certificate. And then I get my password and my KeePass DB credential password. I unprotect it from my CMS message. Yeah, and why can I not? Because I don't have the private key inserted, which we will. Yeah, I don't have to show that because when I don't have the password, then I cannot open the database, right? So let's do that one again. So now we got it in here. And we try to get our password again. Now it works. We are putting in some dummy username for the KeePass credential. And now I'm creating the credential object to open the KeePass database. And now, bringing both together, I got my entry without entering my master key, my KeePass master key. To bring that to a real-world solution, or to show you how it could be implemented, I just have one small Azure startup VM script, start VM script, however you would like to call it, where I'm using my actual Office 365 subscription. I stored my credentials in my own personal private KeePass database, and I'm trying to get that one now. Or better said, I'm only showing you the script here, and then we run it from the PowerShell itself, not from the ISE. So I'm getting the password, I'm creating my KeePass credentials again, and then I get my KeePass entry, which is my Office 365 or Azure account credentials that I have to put in to start those VMs, right? That's what I'm doing here, getting the stuff, and then creating the credential object. This is my resource group name in Azure resource, like the new version of Azure deployments. And then there are some Azure commands for login to the account with my credentials provided by KeePass and so on. And just starting up some VMs. I'm getting the status of that VM, and if it's deallocated, if it's not running, then it's starting up. If that is done, because that is the DC, I wanted to start first. Not a good script, not a fine script, not beautiful, but it's just for demo purpose here. So I'm opening up a PowerShell session. Was it? So, no, where is it? No. Ah. So there it is. So I'm just starting my script now. It's getting every needed information automatically because I have the private key in my personal certificate store. I'm connected to my Azure account now. And the next thing would be that we get some information that something is happening. We can look at it in the portal. As the fast ones already saw, there is something moving in here. So this is the account, and this is the first machine to start. If that one is started, the next ones will start. So to get an answer takes a while, I figured out. I don't know why they don't provide any status or something during the running up phase, but it's working. So basically, I started a script now without ever having to input any passwords. And that's the way you can implement it for your own needs. So you have a PowerShell jump server or something like that, or any other automation base server, something like that. You don't have the money for Psychotic, CyberArk. You are not allowed to use Azure Automation, where you could also store your credentials, that's for sure. If you have no access to all those other solutions, that one might be the one for you. And it will be actively developed in the future. It's on GitHub. Let me show you this. Yeah, I already told that. Use both systems together and contribute. If you are interested in that stuff, in the module, I already saw there's an issue filed with somebody who's just started a few days ago, also a PowerShell KeePass implementation. So I think the chance of getting more features relatively quick is good at the moment. And if you want to help, just go on and contribute. So after that session, some break minutes for grabbing coffee and so on. Do you have questions? Yeah.
What is the interface to the KeePass thing? So is it hacked or?
No, it's absolutely not hacked. KeePass is based on .NET. And so you just, the module just loads the DLLs and then uses the KeePass own methods and functions. And that way it's easy to explore what KeePass is doing in the background. Yeah.
So how secure is KeePass itself?
KeePass itself is relatively secure. There was some month ago, as secure can be. So some month ago there was a tool released which can kind of look into memory and find open KeePass sessions, and then like inject there and get this stuff out. But besides that, there's nothing known that KeePass has been compromised or something like that.
And the requirement is that there's something in memory. So if
Yeah.
KeePass database is stored on disk and you don't have it open, it's secure.
It's secure, and with the module, the KeePass database is only open a really, really short amount of time. Because in the GUI, when you have it open, it's open a long time, but with that solution, it's just open, up, down, gone, closed. Yeah. Any more questions? Yeah.
The GUI and the interface bite each other.
So question is, does the GUI and the interface bite each other? I understand if I change something in the GUI and save it, and at the same time try to do something with the module. Is that right? Yeah, you will have some interferences there. I just learned yesterday something about PowerShell, about KeePass triggers, which are supposed to prevent something like that. I just have not figured it out yet. So.
I also have KeePass and I use it a lot, and I lock KeePass with a GUI
Yeah.
a lot. But it doesn't do anything underwater like it locks the database or something for you to use with your PowerShell.
No, not yet. No.
Could you please repeat the solutions that cost some money? So
No. Yes, I can repeat them because, to be fair, they offer also other things like web APIs and so on, which this does not by now, but there are. Okay, those solutions are, for example, CyberArk. Password safe is a popular thing in Germany. Psychotic is a really cool one. Yeah, and then Azure Automation or SMA or Orchestrator, they can all store credentials safely. Yeah.
And all these
I'd say yes, if you have the extra professional super enterprise version of it, which in case of Psychotic, for example, for my company would have cost us 100,000 euros or so. So that's why I say poor persons should maybe prefer that.
But the point is, you have to install the
KeePass,
itself on the
KeePass
server.
has to be installed on a server,
Is
yes.
it also possible just to put the DLLs there?
By what I learned yesterday, yes, but it's not done yet.
Yeah, well, you
Yeah.
can also just use the portable version.
Yes, portable version would be a thing for it also. Yeah, yeah. There's lots of improvements possible. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
I saw this yesterday that you can put the DLL directly.
Yes, me also. But I'll have to figure it out and ask Jared how he does it. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Something about me. This is my name. This is where I work. Here you can reach me. This is the best way to reach me because I get notified. And I'm also one of the co-founders of the PowerShell user group Southern Germany. So if you are ever around in Southern Germany, just drop me a line and we can see if we can do something together. So, thank you.